Now on CoastTV News.
Flames force evacuation. The dangerous situation across the Delaware Bay continues with thousands of acres burned in a wildfire.
Broadkill bites how new restaurant chains proposed for Milton are moving closer to a construction date.
Pricey pump plans, the seven-figure cost of options for upgrades to part of Lewes's wastewater system.
Cooling down a bit for Delmarva today with a cooler onshore flow. Comfortable conditions through the end of the week, then a rainy start to the weekend. Details coming up.
This is CoastTV News Today.
And it is Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us for our 5 o'clock hour.
On this Wednesday morning, we saw those images of those wildfires in New Jersey. Sussex County just coming out of drought conditions.
Yeah.
First time in a while we've been able to say that Sussex County not in a drought situation.
I felt like for months Bob kept telling us that we were still in a drought even though we were getting a lot of rain. But yesterday we had temperatures that almost felt like it was June outside.
It was
pretty warm out
spectacular,
there.
Bob.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was summer-like warmth. We had 80s yesterday, guys. That was well above average. And good morning to you. And yeah, we had the wildfires going in New Jersey. We are looking at dry conditions for us. Relief on the way by the weekend with a chance of rain on Saturday. But right now it's dry and cool. 63 Salisbury, 60 in Georgetown, 57 in Redden, 64 Bethany Beach, Rehoboth at 63. Winds have swung around to the north and they'll be out of the northeast today behind a cold front. We actually have a few showers popping up near Salisbury along Highway 50 towards Ocean Pines right now. But the heavier precipitation, southern tip of Delmarva down into the Norfolk area, even some thunderstorms here, that's along a cold front that is slowly sliding to the south. And as high pressure builds in, we'll see that northeasterly flow strengthening. And we're looking at a cooler day today, about 10 degrees cooler. Here are the clouds this morning, maybe a few sprinkles across areas in Maryland, otherwise more sunshine by mid-morning. Here comes that northeast wind. That means cooler 50s and 60s at the beaches, mid to upper 60s inland. I think some inland spots get into the low 70s later, but cooler 50s and 60s at the beaches. So definitely cooler today than yesterday with a mix of sun and clouds in that northeast to east wind. Always a cooler wind, and then comfortable for the rest of the week. Then that rain chance for Saturday. Much more on my forecast coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
Bob, in our top story this half hour, a massive wildfire is burning in Ocean County, New Jersey. Fire officials first alerted people there about the fire just before 12:30 Tuesday afternoon. And as of last night, the wildfire has burned about 8,500 acres and 1,300 structures have been threatened. Mandatory evacuations are in place in the surrounding area and several roads are shut down.
New this morning, exploring upgrades for the pump station in Lewes at 3 options, and prices are expected to be reviewed at this afternoon's Board of Public Works meeting. Each option comes with at least a $1 million price tag to include a new structure. The board will have at least a month to decide. After today, their next meeting is scheduled for after Memorial Day.
Happening today, exploring options for lowering the number of crashes on Delaware roads. The Delaware Office of Highway Safety is focusing on initiatives to prevent traffic injuries and deaths. Today, it is hosting the first in a series of public forums. The office says it affects everyone, whether you walk, ride, or drive, and this forum is at Deltec's Georgetown campus at 6 p.m.
New overnight, we have an update about 2 fast food proposals in Milton. We're talking about plans to build a Dairy Queen and Dunkin' Donuts, both on Broadkill Road. Milton's Planning and Zoning Commission gave both projects preliminary approval in a meeting earlier on Monday evening. People we spoke with say they're excited about the possibility of more food options coming to the town.
A Dairy Queen would be nice because just going to get ice cream, take them to get ice cream, and then not have to get like Kings and stuff right away.
I think a lot of the bigger corporations, all those businesses are franchised, so they are really local. Someone locally owns those businesses, and they're just using the big franchisee recipes, if you will.
More approvals are needed before a Dairy Queen or Dunkin' Donuts will officially be built in Milton. The Dairy Queen is planned for 405 Broadkill Road and the Dunkin' planned for 403 Broadkill Road.
Developing news out of Georgetown, where upgrade plans continue at the Delaware Coastal Airport. According to the Airport Advisory Committee, they are looking at a new parallel taxiway and a restriping project. Also in the works is Eastern Shore natural gas installation, and there'll be an update on wildlife management. This meeting takes place at 6 p.m. tonight at the Sussex County Emergency Center.
If you plan on heading to the Lewes-Georgetown Trail today, here is an update. Delta is announcing a closure. The agency says in an effort to control vegetation, they will use herbicide in the area. If work isn't able to take place today, there is a rain date for tomorrow. Delta says work is scheduled for midnight at 8 a.m. And that herbicide isn't dangerous to people or wildlife.
A group called Action for Delaware's Children pushing for more protection from lead poisoning. They're hosting a public forum focused on some pending legislation in the General Assembly that would require landlords to make rentals safer for children. This includes considering the possible exposure to lead-based paint and its impacts. People can attend this Thursday forum at the Dover Public Library at 6 p.m.
Delaware State Police are responding to a social media post from news outlet First State Update. The post featured an edited image of a state trooper in uniform with alterations made to that uniform. DSP called it, quote, unacceptable and disrespectful. In a full statement, Delaware State Police Superintendent said, quote, this mockery of service and sacrifice defames our agency's credibility and our entire first responder community.
Going to go live now to Vatican City. It's just after 11 a.m. there. What we're seeing here is the transfer of Pope Francis's coffin taking place. The world continues to mourn the passing of Pope Francis, and Catholic Church officials prepare for his funeral.
NBC's Jay Gray shows us the transfer ceremony for worshipers to pay their respects.
Pope Francis comes back to St. Peter's Basilica for the last time. His body lying in state through Friday evening. The faithful, hundreds of thousands, traveling from around the world to say one final goodbye.
He's in our hearts. He's with God right now.
Cardinals continue gathering at the Vatican ahead of Saturday's funeral. Now, meeting daily for private general congregations. Conversations that can at times turn to who among them could become the next pope.
Cardinal X will say to Cardinal Y, I've been talking about this to Cardinal Z. Let's go have a pizza.
135 cardinals, all under the age of 80, will elect the new pontiff during a highly secretive conclave inside the Sistine Chapel. 80% of that group, 108 cardinals, appointed by Francis, 20 from countries that had never had a cardinal before.
The Cardinals really face two choices in this election. Do they want to continue on the path of reform that Francis initiated, of opening the church up to the modern world, or do they want a course correction to elect a pope that's perhaps more focused on doctrine and discipline?
An answer that will only be known when white smoke fills the sky above Vatican City. Jay Gray, NBC News, Rome.
We're just getting started in this hour of Coast TV News today.
Coming up, Milford wants wildflowers, makes the roads in the city more appealing, and DelDOT's role in the plan.
Also, Milton exploring the traffic impacts from its crosswalk paintings. We'll tell you what officials hope to accomplish as that work is expected to continue today.
And Tesla profit problem, also the cause to a drop in revenue there. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
It is 5:10 on a mainly cloudy and mild morning, 63 in Salisbury. You have seen a few light showers moving through in Maryland. In Sussex County, we're dry, but you can see some of these showers near Salisbury, Pittsville, and out towards Ocean Pines and Ocean City as well. They are brief, but the heavier rain, southern tip of Delmarva, around Cape Charles, into the Hampton Roads area, around Norfolk, Elizabeth City, even some thunderstorms offshore. These will stay off to our south and east as we have a cold front suppressing this activity to the south, as we have a northeasterly flow building in around high pressure. That will keep us a little cooler today. Here's your drive cast out the door this morning. We're looking at a green light, cool and dry, a few showers across Maryland. Otherwise, your PM commute, we're looking at dry and cooler conditions with temperatures in the 60s and 70s.
New this morning in Georgetown, DelDOT announcing the closure of Wood Branch Road. This is between Sussex Pines Road and Cedar Lane. This is at the railroad crossing, which you can see on your screen. And DelDOT says these closures take place Friday, May 2nd, and it's expected to be complete by Thursday, May the 8th. This is so Delmarva Central Railroad can work on repairs and maintenance.
DelDOT has announced some speed limit changes along Coastal Highway from Dewey Beach to the Delaware-Maryland state line. The first changes went into effect April 21st. If you're heading south from Dewey Beach to about Conquest Road, it was 55 miles per hour, but now that speed limit has been changed to 35 miles per hour. And northbound from just before Conquest Road to Dewey Beach, that was 55 miles per hour, and it will be changed to 50 miles per hour. And to see a full list of those changes, head to our website, CoastTV.com.
Summer is about 2 months away, and summer jobs are at the ready. Today, people can find full and part-time opportunities at the Worcester County Job Fair. This event takes place from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Snow Hill Volunteer Fire Company, and organizers say representatives from the Worcester County Health Department, Department of Labor, and other agencies will be in attendance.
Tesla's revenue and earnings dropped in the first quarter. The company reported that its revenue fell 9%, with auto revenue falling 20%. Both drops were bigger than expected, and Tesla is less exposed to tariffs than most other automakers. But the company said it would have to revisit its guidance because of current trade disputes.
The popular streaming service Max is launching a new feature. It's called Extra Member Add-on. Costs $7.99 a month to add a family member or friend who does not live with a Max user. The move comes after Max parent company Warner Brothers Discovery was getting ready to notify users of restrictions for sharing streaming accounts outside their household.
You could be seeing a few light showers around the Ocean City area right now. Nothing all that heavy. Hershey exteriors can, mainly cloudy. 62. It's going to be a cooler day for Delmarva with an onshore flow, and then comfortable the rest of the week. Right now, the weekend looks like it's starting wet, but a drier and cooler Sunday on the way. I'll have your forecast details coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is 5:16, and you are looking live at the canals in Ocean City. Some cloud cover, maybe a little more there right now, Bob.
Little rain.
Maybe, yeah. Later, we're getting ready for a pleasant Wednesday. Bob, you are tracking conditions for the Delmarva Sports Network's Expo in Harrington.
Yeah, we've got the DSN Outdoors Expo coming up on Friday and Saturday, Matt. That's in Harrington. That's at the Delaware State Fairgrounds. And on Friday, I think the weather will cooperate. Now, it kicks off at 3 o'clock on Friday. It goes till 8 p.m. And then Saturday, 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. That day, I think, is a little wet, but Friday we're looking good at the fairgrounds for the expo. We're looking at a southeast breeze, mid-70s as we go through the afternoon into the evening hours with a mix of sun and clouds, and comfortable as we go into the evening hours with lower 70s. By 8 p.m., naturally, it's dark. It's getting a little cooler, around 66, but the weather cooperates once again for day one. Day two, not so much. We'll have more on that coming up a little bit later on. But we're looking at temperatures in the 50s and 60s out the door right now. 62 in Ocean Pines and Ocean City, 64 at Bethany Beach, 60 in Georgetown, 59 in Seaford. And the winds have turned around to the north, and eventually they'll blow in out of the northeast and onshore flow as a cold front is working through. We are seeing some pesky showers near Salisbury into Willards along Highway 50 out towards the beaches. Just some sprinkles of very light showers. However, heavier rain down near Cape Charles and the bridge tunnel into the Norfolk area. They are seeing heavier showers, even some thunderstorms down there across southeast Virginia, down into northeast parts of North Carolina as a cold front is slowly working to the south. We're drying out in our neck of the woods with a northeast flow around high pressure, and that will bring in cooler air. We were in the 80s yesterday. I'm thinking 70s today as this ridge of high pressure builds in, and we're looking at pretty nice conditions, I think, today through the rest of the week. Here's Futurecast this morning. We're in the 50s and 60s. Watch for a hit and miss shower the next couple of hours. Otherwise, we do dry it out mid-morning. We're in the low 60s inland, but cooler 50s and 60s off the coast. That northeast wind right off the ocean, adding a bite to the air for sure. By noon, around 67 Delmar, 64 in Millsboro, but cooler 50s from Fenwick Island up to Rehoboth, around 60 in Lewes. And by 4:30, I think inland locations like Salisbury to Georgetown, Middletown, Seaford, Ellendale in the lower 70s, but 50s and 60s farther to the east and mid to upper 60s along the coast. As we go into this evening, we're looking at temperatures in the 50s and we're looking at cooler overnight lows. Not going to be frosty, but we're dipping into the 40s, I think, as we go into Thursday morning. It's kind of chilly. It's going to be a little bit of a shock with mid-40s from Millsboro to Delmarva and then 40s and 50s at the coast. And then tomorrow, another good-looking day. Comfortable, lots of sunshine. Mid-50s inland, around 76 in Salisbury, 75 in Georgetown. A little cooler at the beaches as that northeast flow continues and pleasant conditions into Thursday evening. I talked about day 2 of the DSN Outdoors Expo looking kind of wet. Now, early in the morning, I think we're dry, but then we go into the afternoon and we're looking at showers that could be heavy at times and then possibly some rumbles of thunder too. Then the system exits to the southeast as we go into Saturday evening. So we'll dry it out into the evening and then Sunday looking much better, cooler with lots of sunshine. Here's your Paul Davis 7-day forecast. 71 today, a few spotty showers this morning, and then Thursday mostly sunny, 73. Overnight lows starting to warm up too from the 40s into the 50s, and then Friday partly cloudy, 76. That chance of showers on Saturday with a rumble of thunder too with a high of 75. Doesn't look severe. Sunday looking good, lots of sunshine, 68, a mild start to next week. Then we bounce it up to 78 with mostly cloudy, mostly sunny skies on Tuesday. Congratulations to David Owen from Bridgeville, Delaware. He is the proud owner of a new umbrella from Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling and Coast TV.
Bob, happening today, calming traffic with art. That is Milton's approach to safer roadways for pedestrians. The art is used to draw attention to walkers, and this latest crosswalk is the 13th in town to be painted. This is at the intersection of Mulberry and Federal Street. Lily pads are painted by volunteers eager to promote safety.
So we have a lot of people that came out to volunteer to help us paint, and also to remind drivers that they are required by state law to stop at every pedestrian crossing when there is a person who wants to cross.
It can bring joy to the community because it's like cool.
And Milton started this initiative in 2023 with several other crosswalks in the town. The project had been postponed earlier this week. It is expected to continue today.
More to come this morning on Coast TV News Today. Milford wants wildflowers. We'll tell you when officials are set to discuss a proposal that could make the city more appealing. Don't go anywhere.
The Delaware Department of Education is welcoming 2 new leaders. Denise Carter will serve as Deputy Secretary for Strategic Initiatives. Adam Schott has been named Associate Secretary for Student Support. This comes as the Secretary of Education is preparing for a big change in funding to focus more on student needs.
Happening today in Milford, a push to make the city more appealing. Officials will discuss a proposal to plant wildflowers along medians on Route 113. DelDOT says it is working with the city on that project, but Milford will be responsible for any cost. This includes materials, maintenance, and planting. City officials will discuss this today at 6 p.m. And coming up this Friday and Saturday, head on over to the Harrington Fairgrounds for the DSN Outdoor Expo. On Friday the 25th, it will run from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. and on Saturday the 26th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The DSN Outdoor Expo at Harrington Fairgrounds this weekend. And Matt, yesterday you said that today your chore after work is to do lawn work.
Yes.
Looks like you'll have a good day to do so.
Yeah.
You sound so excited.
I'm looking forward to. You are welcome to participate in this fun endeavor. I'm looking forward to that. Bob, I know others may be looking forward to a nice day at our beaches.
Yeah. Wait, Matt, you're doing lawn work today?
What's shocking about that?
Well, you don't like doing it.
I don't like it. It has to be done.
It has to be done. Matt likes it brown and crunchy so he doesn't have to cut it. All right, at the beaches today, Fenwick Island and Ocean City. It's going to be cooler for you with a northeasterly wind. Cloudy this morning, maybe a stray shower. We've already seen those around Ocean City, otherwise partly cloudy. Temperatures, I think upper 50s to around 60 with lower 60s in Fenwick Island. Some more sunshine this afternoon. Waves around 2 to 3 feet. UV index is moderate. Make sure you have your sunscreen. And Lewes and Rehoboth, if you're looking at temperatures in the 50s and 60s, mid-60s 60s around Lewes with lower 60s into Rehoboth. So a little cooler there, warmer inland. And then for the Bayside, 1-foot waves on Chesapeake Bay with temperatures in the lower 70s for Cambridge. Clouds this morning, partly cloudy in Crisfield this afternoon. Temperatures into the upper 60s. We are looking at pleasant conditions for the rest of the week, but some showers to start the weekend. I'll have much more on your forecast coming up in the next half hour.
The break on Coast TV News today, possible pump station upgrades. We'll tell you what Lewes officials are considering today.
Also, tariff turmoil relief, why there could be a change in global trade after statements from President Trump this week.
And Pope Francis' international impact. We'll tell you new details of his funeral and how clergy all over the world is honoring the pontiff. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
Francis' funeral nears. We learned more about the plans coming out of Vatican City and the action that took place this morning.
Sweetness and zoning, ice cream, and donut chains take the next steps towards moving to Milton.
Big Bill Brewing, we look at the cost of the options being reviewed in Lewes to upgrade the city's pump station.
Cooling down a bit for Delmarva today with a cooler onshore flow. Comfortable conditions through the end of the week, then a rainy start to the weekend. Details coming up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
April 23rd, 2025. Good morning. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
And we're getting close to 5:30 on this Wednesday morning, and spring break continues in Sussex County for your Maryland students. Sorry that you had to go back to class yesterday, but what do you remember about spring break? Because you're not that far removed from it.
So when I was younger, my dad works in construction. My mom's a teacher, and our breaks never aligned. So we would get to go to work with my dad when we were younger. And maybe my brother and I would get in trouble sometimes with each other because we're a little bored. But
okay, so that could have been fun for Elisa's dad.
Exactly. I think my dad had a very good time watching us during spring break. But Bob, if people have spring break today, they have some beautiful weather again.
I would think so. And good morning, Elisa and Matt. Good morning, Delmarva. Yeah, we are seeing a few sprinkles this morning. Otherwise, it will be cooler today. Not a great beach day with a wind coming off the colder ocean. 60 in Georgetown right now, 63 in Salisbury. We've got low to mid 60s at the coast right now. Temperatures not rising all that much there as the winds are picking up out of the north there. Lighter inland, but they'll be picking up out of the northeast. And close to a cold front, we have a few sprinkles. We had them around Salisbury through Pittsville right now and near Ocean City, just very, very light. A heavier activity is the southern tip of Delmarva around Cape Charles down into the Hampton Roads area and northeast North Carolina. Seeing heavier rain here, even some thunderstorms, but this is staying well to our south as a cold front is suppressing that activity to the south and southeast as we have a cooler northeast flow with high pressure building in. So that means a mix of sun and clouds today and temperatures much cooler than yesterday. We were in the 80s yesterday, not so today. Here is 5:30 on Futurecast. We've got the clouds. Once again, a few sprinkles, especially as you go farther south with temperatures in the 50s and 60s. More in the way of sun by mid-morning with temperatures 60s inland, 50s at the coast. And with that northeast flow, we're looking at 50s and 60s along the beaches for this afternoon. Upper 60s, some lower 70s the farther inland you go, and cool and dry as we go into this evening. It's back to school. Well, it was yesterday for Maryland. Still, Sussex County is off. Slackers, enjoy your time off. Off to school in Maryland, 57 with a stray shower, and then heading home, breezy and cooler. Need that windbreaker in around 67.
Thank you, Bob. We are now going to go live to Vatican City in Italy, where just a few hours ago, the coffin containing Pope Francis's body was taken to St. Peter's Basilica. The procession passed through St. Martha's Square and then into St. Peter's Square before entering that basilica. Pope Francis's funeral will be held on Saturday at 10 a.m. local time. The Cardinal Giovanni Battista presiding over the funeral liturgy. The impact of Pope Francis's work and the reaction to his passing being seen all over the world.
We praise God for the gift that Pope Francis was to all of us, a gift to be long savored. We're grateful to God for what he taught us by how he lived and by how he died.
The funeral mass will be celebrated in the churchyards of St. Peter's Basilica before the pontiff's body is taken to the Basilica of St. Maria Maggiore for burial.
To mark the passing of Pope Francis, Delaware Governor Matt Meyer ordered flags at all state-owned buildings and facilities to be flown at half-staff until sunset on Saturday, April 26. In a statement, Meyer said, in part, quote, Delaware mourns the passing of His Holiness Pope Francis, a revolutionary spiritual leader whose grace, humility, and unwavering compassion transformed lives and inspired hearts across the globe, end quote.
On Monday, Maryland Governor Wes Moore followed the federal order and announced that the U.S. flag and Maryland flag were lowered to half-staff. Here is his statement, quote, I join Catholics across Maryland alongside the broader faith community, our country, and all those over the world who mourn his passing and honor with deep solemnity his legacy of service. The flags will remain at half-staff until sunset on the day of interment. And the International Monetary Fund and World Bank Group are meeting in Washington this week. The location might be fitting given the IMF's newly released World Economic Outlook. It says President Donald Trump's tariffs are slowing down the U.S. and global economies.
Zimmy Kiley shows us Trump is showing signs he might ease up on some of his positions.
The president and the administration are setting the stage for a deal with China.
President Donald Trump is softening two of his most contentious economic positions, but a new report shows it might be too little too late. He says the tariff on many Chinese imports eventually won't be, quote, anywhere near the current level. It's 145% after his repeated hikes.
I'm not going to say, oh, I'm going to play hardball with China. I'm going to play hardball with you, President Xi. No. We're going to be very nice.
Trump also appears to be walking back his social media post that says the Federal Reserve Chair's termination can't come fast enough.
I have no intention of firing him. I would like to see him be a little more active in terms of his idea to lower interest rates.
The change of tone follows yesterday's grim report from the International Monetary Fund. It forecasts a global economic slowdown of 0.5% year over year. It predicts an even bigger hit to the U.S. economy. The IMF says it revised its forecast due to Trump's trade announcements on April 2nd. They include a 10% universal tariff, reciprocal duties that are on hold for 90 days, and hikes on Chinese imports.
Everybody is saying that the U.S. economy is in trouble, but the administration continues to say it's just a bit of transient or few transient problems. It's more than that, and the evidence is there.
I'm Mimi Kiley reporting.
New in Lewes, moving closer to a solution for the city's pump station. In fact, 3 options are expected to be reviewed at this afternoon's Board of Public Works meeting. The most expensive costs over $2 million. It's for a new station in Wetwell. At just under $2 million, getting a new station and combining the wet well with submersible pumps, it is a $1 million price tag for flood-proofing the existing pump station. It's all part of Lewes's pump station resiliency study.
Happening today in Georgetown, possible plans to upgrade the Delaware Coastal Airport are on the agenda. According to the Airport Advisory Committee, they're looking at a new parallel taxiway and restriping project. Also in the work is Eastern Shore natural gas installation, and there will be an update on wildlife management. This meeting takes place at 6 p.m. tonight at Sussex County Emergency Center.
Now, also today, exploring options for lowering the number of crashes on Delaware roads. The Delaware Office of Highway Safety is focusing on initiatives to prevent traffic injuries and deaths. Today, it is hosting the first in a series of public forums. The office says it affects everyone, whether you walk, ride, or drive. This forum is at Deltec's Georgetown campus at 6 p.m.
We have an update about 2 fast food proposals in Milton. We're talking about plans to build a Dairy Queen and Dunkin' Donuts, both on Broadkill Road. Milton's Planning and Zoning Commission gave both projects preliminary approval in a meeting on Monday evening. More approvals are needed before a Dairy Queen or Dunkin' Donuts will officially be built in town. The Dairy Queen planned for 405 Broadkill Road, and the Dunkin' is planned for 403 Broadkill Road.
Lewes Georgetown trail closure that we've been telling you about. According to DelDOT, it's scheduled to be happening right now. DelDOT says this is to control vegetation. They'll use herbicide in that area. If the works was unable to take place, there was a rain date originally scheduled for tomorrow. DelDOT says work is scheduled to wrap up around 8 a.m. That's about 90 minutes from now. And the herbicide is not dangerous to people or wildlife. Still more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, beach cleaning continues. We'll show you what Tuesday's Earth Day cleanup looked like and details of another event this weekend.
Also, cross-conference competition, the thrilling back-and-forth battle in softball between Decatur and Sussex Central.
And fighting major plant problem, we'll tell you how anglers are reacting to plans to kill algae in Salisbury waterways. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
We salute Jennifer Tremont. Jennifer Tremont served with pride as a B-52 bomb loader during the Persian Gulf War, carrying on the legacy of a third-generation military family. In her 5th year of active duty, her greatest challenge arose. Her infant son was diagnosed with brain cancer. Jennifer made the brave decision to step away from her military dream to become his sole caretaker, traveling from her duty station in Louisiana to Memphis for treatment. For nearly 2 years, she fought a different kind of battle, with unwavering strength, love, and dedication. Today, her son remains stable at age 25. We salute Jennifer Tremont for her selfless service both as an airman and as a devoted mother.
Spicer Brothers and Coast TV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a Coast TV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
It is 5:41 on a rather cloudy Wednesday morning. Dry Tech Cam in Ocean City. You've been seeing some sprinkles, light showers around 61 degrees. And we're dry in Sussex County right now, but still some lingering showers along US 50, some sprinkles there. Also down into the Chincoteague area with heavier rain. Southern tip of Delmarva down into the Hampton Roads area. But this area of rain is moving offshore, even a few thunderstorms too, as a cold front is moving through us, moving to the south. We'll get into a cooler northeasterly flow today. So much cooler today as opposed to yesterday's 80 degrees. We're looking at temperatures in the 50s and 60s right now, with the north wind becoming more northeasterly with time. Today's checklist, even though we're seeing a few sprinkles in Maryland, don't need the rain gear, but you need the windbreaker, especially at the beaches, and the sunscreen later too. Warm beverage, especially at the coast. A little cooler there today. Make sure you have your sunglasses as well. And call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone, another way to get your forecast, sponsored by Brockstead Dallas Federico.
Thank you, Bob. Delaware is taking steps to craft an updated plan to protect the state's wildlife. Denmark is in the process of revising its wildlife action plan for the next 10 years, which the state says will guide the management of wildlife and habitats. Denmark says the theme of the updated plan is keeping today's wildlife from becoming tomorrow's memories. The public does have the chance to share their thoughts on a new plan at the upcoming information sessions in July and August. And to learn more about the Wildlife Action Plan, visit our website, coasttv.com.
Salisbury's launching a new effort to clean up local waterways. Starting next month, field operations crews will treat Shoemaker Pond and other spots to fight hydrilla and harmful algae blooms. Both can threaten fish, even human health. The city will use approved herbicides and algicides with follow-up treatments based on the severity. One fisherman we spoke to says they are skeptical of the method being used.
I did fish in Shoemaker when I was a kid, but I've always, from adults growing up to now, nobody's gonna eat out of there. And I hate harmful chemicals. I'm all with everybody nowadays with all natural stuff.
Important to note, a city spokesperson says the chemicals involved are approved, and the city says it will monitor progress and continue treatments each year if needed in Salisbury.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Last night we got a classic between Stephen Decatur and Sussex Central softball, and it went down to the wire. All tied at 3 in the 4th. Ava Snellsire goes yard for Decatur. Seahawks lead 4-3 in the 4th. Later on, all tied at 4. Madison McGinnis sends it back through the middle. Maddie Imschweiler trots home to make it 5-4 Seahawks in the 5th. But the trends of this game continue. Nakira Copes pounds a double into left center. A pair of runs come in to score, and that would be the finale of this masterpiece. Sussex Central wins it 6-5. And we're less than a week away from a new season of our ongoing docu-series Into the Trenches. This time, we follow the Cape Henlopen Vikings as they embark on a new voyage into their 2024 football season.
The late run last season, and then trying to explain that we're a different team.
You got to work harder because you went to the state ship, because there's a target on your head.
Understanding the stresses that these kids are under it's a little bit unique for me.
The expectations are high.
You're gonna practice the way you play.
We can push even further this year and hopefully make a run for it again.
Into the Trenches, a new voyage. April 24th at 7:30 on the Delmarva Sports Network and DSN+. Sponsored by Preston Automotive.
That'll do it for sports. Have a great day, everyone.
And coming up tonight on DSN, your game of the night at 7 p.m., the Delmarva Shorebirds take on Augusta Green Jackets, then catch the final score at 10:30. Along with that game of the night on DSN Plus at 4 p.m., Salisbury Christian takes on Nanduit Baseball. Also at that time, Salisbury School faces the Gunston School in pickleball. At 5:30, Holly Grove Christian plays Arcadia in girls soccer. And at 6:30, it's James M. Bennett at Parkside in girls lacrosse. And as you saw, Into the Trenches is back for its third season. This year, we followed the Cape Henlopen Vikings football team fresh off of their first state championship appearance in 40 years. Into the Trenches premieres tomorrow, April 24th at 7:30 on DSN and DSN+.
Tom Cruise literally went to the ends of the earth for his latest film. David Daniel explains in today's Hollywood Minute.
Salisbury is just, it's breathtakingly beautiful. What an absolutely remarkable place to be able to film. It is a unique experience.
Tom Cruise is still going to extremes. Paramount revealed this sneak peek at filming scenes for Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning in the Arctic, a mere 650 miles from the North Pole, on the northernmost year-round settlement on Earth. The 8th and apparently final Mission Impossible movie blows into theaters May 23rd.
At last, I would be a detective in my own right, worthy of the Holmes name.
Enola Holmes is back on the case. Netflix has announced Millie Bobby Brown and Henry Cavill are returning in Enola Holmes 3, which is now in production.
We're about to choose the most famous man in the world. And 1.25 billion souls watching.
Life imitates art. The death of Pope Francis has sparked more interest in Conclave about selecting a new pontiff. The 2024 film recently hit streaming services, and it topped Prime Video's bestsellers list shortly after the Pope's death was announced. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
We're seeing some damp roads right now in Maryland and Salisbury. You've seen some showers on the Tidal Health Cam and a little wet out there, so take it slow this morning. Otherwise, it's a cool down for Delmarva today with a cool onshore flow. Then comfortable the rest of the week, and the weekend starts a little wet. I'll have the details in your full forecast in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is now 5:49, and we're taking a live look outside at Salisbury this morning. Bob, yesterday it felt like summertime. Today a little bit cooler, but still pretty pleasant outside.
Yeah, no, it's still not bad. And as you can see on the camera there, at least we had a little bit of rain around the Salisbury area, but a taste of summer yesterday. Georgetown got up to 83 degrees. Not going to see that today. A little cooler now. The average high is 68, so we have a cool down, but temperature's still running above the average of 68. 71 today, 73 on Thursday, a little cooler at the beaches. Mid-70s on Friday, 75 on Saturday, and then a big cool down on Sunday, 68, but that's average for this time of year. And we're looking at temperatures in the 50s and 60s now. Bethany Beach 64, Rehoboth 61, 60 in Delmar and Milton at 61. As the winds are starting to come in out of the northeast, it's coming in off the water, and it's going to be cooler as we go through the day. As we're looking at dry conditions in Sussex County, we have seen some sprinkles, light showers from Salisbury along US 50 out towards the coast, but those are beginning to dwindle. But around Pocomoke City, George Island Landing, towards Crisfield, you're still seeing some heavier showers there, and a steadier rain southern tip of Delmarva, the Bridge Tunnel area down into the Hampton Roads area. So if you're traveling in that region, we are seeing rain, which is beginning to move offshore now, even some flashes of lightning. And that's along a cold front. And this cold front continues to sink to the south as we're looking at high pressure and a strengthening northeast flow. And this high will give us nicer weather later today and basically right through the rest of the week. As Futurecast this morning shows that wind picking up out of the northeast with clouds, a few breaks from time to time, temperatures in the 50s, more in the way of sunshine as we go through the morning hours. By the noon hour, we're into the mid to upper 60s inland areas, but cooler at the coast with that northeast wind only keeping you in the 50s. But I think we're a little warmer here, probably in the low to mid 60s from Dewey Beach to Fenwick Island, but inland 60s and low 70s. Then this evening, it really cools down. It clears out, and we're looking at temperatures in the 50s by midnight. By 6 a.m., we're looking at temperatures down into the mid 40s, a crisp feel to the air tomorrow morning, a little warmer at the beaches. And then as we go into your Thursday, we're looking at mid 70s, I think, inland areas in the afternoon and cooler conditions at the beaches, but a pleasant weather pattern right through Friday. Then into the weekend, we're looking at showers, and some of those showers could be heavy at times, maybe a rumble of thunder as a cold front comes through Saturday evening, and then a much better day on Sunday with a northerly flow and drier air. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, lower 70s today with a mix of sun and clouds. Chilly morning tomorrow morning, and then 73, mostly sunny on Thursday. A few more clouds on Friday, 76, and then that shower and storm chance on Saturday, 75. It cools off and it's nice and sunny on Sunday, and then a warm up into next week, 78 by Tuesday and mostly sunny.
Thank you, Bob. Earth Day may be over, but Beach Heroes OC isn't done cleaning the community. Locals can join the organization for another event this weekend. Tuesday, people in Ocean Pines participated in a cleanup event in partnership with Beach Heroes OC. Pat Ryan Garcia, who chairs Ocean Pines Environment and Natural Assets Advisory Committee, thought what better time to hold a cleanup than Earth Day.
It's a great idea for people to get out, get some fresh air, get some exercise, and at the same time, they're doing something nice for our community.
And Beach Heroes OC is partnering with other local organizations for another Earth Day event. This Saturday is the semi-annual community cleanup at the Worcester County Library.
Yeah, this brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, what is your favorite way to give back to nature?
And so far, 49% of voters say recycling more, 20% helping wildlife, another 20% planting trees, and 11% beach cleanups. And if you haven't voted yet, you can still do so at coasttv.com or over on our mobile app. And the time is now 5:53, so we are going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
Yeah, today's coastal pet of the day comes to us from the Brandywine Valley SPCA. On your screen, that is Spruce. Spruce, we're being told, loves his buddy Rufus, and you can usually find them both cuddled together under the cat tower in the room where it's nice and quiet. If you want to adopt Spruce or any other lovable pet, you can head on over to the Brandywine Valley SPCA.
And we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
Yeah, scan that QR code there. That way you can get your friends to us at Coast TV News, and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
It is 5:56. We're going to take another look at your forecast before you head out the door.
All right, Elisa, this allows me to play or think about one of my favorite songs. Bob, are we getting sunny and 75 today?
I'm going to say sunny and 72 or 3.
Oh.
Splitting hairs, I feel.
I'm splitting hairs. I am doing that, Matt. But we'll be in the 70s inland areas, cooler at the beaches with an east-northeast flow as we're looking at partly cloudy skies. 50s early on, upper 60s mid-afternoon. I think some inland spots around 71, but cooler 60s at the coast. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, 73 on Thursday, mostly sunny, and pretty nice into the end of the week, too. A few more clouds Friday, 76, and then some showers, some storms on Saturday, 75, but Sunday and Monday look nice with 60s to around 70 degrees, and then really warm by the middle part of next week, 84. Looks like another shower chance by next Friday.
Thanks, Bob. And coming up in our next hour, Lewes pump plans, the 7-figure price tag on each of the options expected for review to upgrade part of the city's wastewater system. That and more when Coast TV News Today continues.